You ever see a moment that flips the whole room upside down? That's what happened in Terminal B that morning. 1 second. Everything's ordinary. The next, a German Shepherd named Ranger snaps his leash and tears off into the crowd, his handler getting dragged behind, people gasping and stumbling out of the way. Folks thought it was chaos. Maybe the dog lost it. But honestly, if you'd seen what I saw, you'd know he was the only one in that airport who really understood what was going on. Now, let me back up. SC Ranger wasn't your average airport canine. This dog had seen more baggage scans and suspect suitcases than most folks ever will. His partner, Jake, was the steady type, always trusted Ranger's nose more than any machine, and with good reason. Usually, Ranger moved through that terminal like he owned the place, alert but controlled. But today he was different. His whole body was tight as a wire, nose twitching, this barely audible whine in his throat. Jake noticed right away. "What's up, boy?" he asked, trying to sound casual, but you could see the worry in his eyes. Everything looked normal. Families hauling bags, people half asleep in coffee lines, the kind of morning where nothing ever seems out of place. But Ranger kept pulling, kept sniffing the air like he was tracking something nobody else could smell. They passed a flight attendant with that practiced airline smile, a couple of kids who wanted to pet him, but Ranger didn't care, didn't break stride, just locked in on something no one else saw. That's when they reached gate 14. There was this kid sitting there, Ethan, maybe 10 years old, hair sticking out every which way, sneakers swinging above the floor, fingers twisted tight in the straps of an old backpack. The kid looked like he was trying not to cry, glancing around like he wanted to disappear. Then, out of nowhere, this tall guy in a sharp gray suit walks up, smiling like he just closed a deal. Kneels right down in front of Ethan. "Hey there, your mom sent me," he says, voice all smooth, flashing an airport badge and holding a fancy briefcase. "She got stuck at security, told me to bring you to her." You know what I mean? The kind of thing that sounds okay, but feels off. Ethan hesitated. His mom had said to stay put, but this guy looked official, professional. Heck, even Jake would have bought it at first glance. Ethan nodded, uncertain, and that's when Ranger went off one sharp, gut punch bark that made everyone around jump. Jake yanked the leash, commanding, "Ranger, heel!" But the dog just wouldn't listen, eyes glued to the man in gray. The tension was thick. People started backing away, whispering to each other, wondering if the dog had lost it or if something worse was going on. Security came over, trying to keep it calm. "Everything all right here?" one officer asked, glancing between Ranger and the man. The guy stood up fast, that perfect smile slipping for a split second. "I'm just helping the boy. Nothing wrong here," he said, but Ranger wasn't having it. Barked again, louder, teeth showing. Ethan backed away, scared but still stuck, eyes darting between the grown-ups. Jake was sweating now, heart thumping, trying to read the situation. Ranger had never acted like this, not once in all their years together. Then the man's face changed, just a flicker, like he'd run out of patience. "There's no problem," he said flat. And that's when Jake really saw danger. Something was about to break. "Step away from the boy," Jake said, voice sharp, hand hovering near his radio. The man didn't move. Instead, in one smooth motion, he grabbed Ethan's arm. That was it. Ranger tore free, honest to God. It looked like a superhero scene. The leash snapped out of Jake's hand, and Ranger launched, teeth latching onto the man's sleeve, yanking him off the kid. Ethan fell back, scrambling out of reach, and in a blink, Jake and the other officers piled in. The gray-suited man struggled, but it was over. Cuffs clicked on. His fake badge hit the floor. Whatever story he'd planned fell apart in front of everyone. People were crying, cheering, hugging each other like it was a miracle. Ethan just sat there shaking, arms around Ranger's thick neck, whispering, "You saved me." Jake dropped to one knee, wrapped his arms around both of them, the whole terminal just watching, silent for a moment, letting it all soak in. But here's where the story twists, because while everyone was thanking the officers and calling Ranger a hero, the real bombshell dropped a few minutes later when they checked the man's ID. Turns out, he wasn't airport staff, wasn't even supposed to be in that terminal. Fake credentials, fake badge, everything. And the stuff he had in that briefcase? Not documents, restraints, a burner phone, even a forged note from Mom. Suddenly, people weren't just shaken, they were horrified. Human trafficking, one officer muttered, and you could feel the air get heavy all over again. That's when Ethan's mom finally broke through the crowd, face white as a sheet, tears streaming. She dropped to her knees, grabbing her son, not letting go. "Thank you," she kept saying over and over, to Jake, to the security team, but mostly to Ranger, who sat there looking proud, but a little confused by all the fuss. Ethan looked up, wiping his nose. "He wouldn't let that man take me," he whispered, and you could see half the folks there wiping their eyes. After the crowd thinned, after the adrenaline drained out, Jake knelt beside Ranger and ruffled his ears. "You did good, buddy. You trusted your gut when nobody else did. Saved a life today." And for once, nobody cared about protocols or reports or the way Ranger broke the rules. Sometimes instinct is stronger than any handbook. Yeah, that happened. They led Ethan and his mom away to take statements, but the story was out. The hero wasn't a cop or a security chief, it was a dog who trusted his own senses more than the orders of his handler. The terminal buzzed for hours afterward, people arguing about whether Ranger should be punished for breaking the rules or given a medal for saving a kid's life. Folks online split. Right down the middle, some said protocol is everything. Others said when a life's on the line, you gotta let instinct lead the way. So let me ask you, if you were there, what would you have done? Would you trust the rules or the dog's gut? Where's the line between order and doing what's right, especially when someone's life hangs in the balance? Let's hear your take below. Was it justice? Was it luck? Or just one smart dog doing what no human could? Drop a comment, tell your story. This is one debate I'd love to see unfold.